Oh, we are so back. I wanted to talk to you guys about 5 principles which have allowed me to transform my life from a clinically depressed, chronically anxious, broke, no motion, no hose, young boy into the man that you see today. And the reason I want to talk about these things is while they're a little bit more niche and they're a little bit more nuanced, perhaps they're not as marketable, they have been absolutely fundamentally important for my own self-development as a man. And the fact that no one speaks about these things is honestly doing a discredit to every young man watching my YouTube channel, trying to grow, trying to transform their lives in a similar way, which I've been able to do. So it's a little bit edgy, okay? And the sort of things that I'm about to speak about might not seem like they apply to your life right now, or maybe they do. But I promise you, if you really internalize what I'm about to talk about, you really understand, you will go far. We're going to start off a little bit tame here, but then we're going to get a bit edgy. The first thing I want to talk about is taking advantage of how short people's attention spans are. And a perfect example of this is you've probably heard for all of time, right, that XY is oversaturated. Whatever sort of thing that you want to commit yourself to, whatever path of excellence you choose to take, oh bro, that's oversaturated, right? The truth is, there's not an information problem anymore. Whatever you choose to do, whatever you choose to strive towards, you have all of the information in the world in order to actually achieve that thing. The problem people have is that their attention span is so short that they quit before they even get to a good standard at whatever it is they're trying to achieve. Oversaturation is a myth that has existed for even before I started video editing back in 2021. I had people telling me, oh Sam, video editing, I don't know about that, it's pretty oversaturated. I've had students of mine being told, oh, I don't know about that, it's oversaturated. Yet here's Adam who's just hit his first 10k month. Or here's Tom who's just hit actually 13k month. And Tom started a year ago, right? So what you have to understand that even if something on the surface looks oversaturated, most people don't have the dog in them to just commit themselves to that one thing, become excellent at it, and be able to harvest the fruits of that labor. If you choose something and you really commit yourself to it, you invest time, money, energy into it, and you don't quit, I guarantee that you'll win. Like Adam, like Tom. People's short attention span and what short form algorithms have done and social media, it's a terrible thing, but don't hate the player, hate the game. You have to look at these things and think, okay, here is the trap that 99% of men are falling into. If you avoid that trap, you are a 1% outlier. It is as simple as that. The next thing I want to talk to you about, you need to get good at sex. And I'll tell you why. I think every man watching this video who's not chopped his balls off would agree that women are a pretty massive primary motivator for us men. Now, what you're told about women, and even from dating gurus, is that you need to run your money up, you need to get status, you need to do cold approaching, etc., right? And for a long time, I followed this advice. I was running my money up, I was running my status up, and I was cold approaching women. Here's the thing, even when I was making 10k per month from my video editing business, I was doing these cold approaches. I have the humility to admit that I was still really fucking timid around beautiful women, which is so bizarre, right? Because I have a lot going for me. At this point, I was 23 years old and I was making 10k per month, traveling the world. My life's pretty sick. And I was following the guru advice and I was talking to women, but it just still didn't feel right. It still felt like I was fucking climbing a mountain every time I talked to a beautiful girl, and I never came across well. Never. And then I got a girlfriend. I got a beautiful girlfriend. You know, she was awesome. But our sex life was pretty mid. I was not experienced enough to really have a good level of prowess in the bedroom, the confidence and the presence that you need to really enjoy sex. That timid nature I had talking to women, cold approaching, carried over even into the bedroom in my relationships. And what that led to was a pretty depolarized relationship. I had found the girl who checked all of the dating guru autistic checkboxes. You know, she's got a good family, she's got no experience before me, she's from Eastern Europe. She checked all the boxes and I was like, my God, like, you know, this is awesome, I've completed life. But our sex was trash. And it led to a really boring relationship which just fizzled out over time. And we ended up breaking up. Looking back at it retrospectively, okay, it's been about 2 years since that relationship. I've had a period of time between that where I have had more experience, right? And that's not to say I've been out here, hoeing around, but I've just had more experience. And I can say with absolute certainty that the missing piece that I had for those cold approaches and also for a good, strong, polarized relationship was being able to have good sex. If women are going to be a massive primary motivator for you, which they will be, that is so fucking important, and it's not something people talk about enough at all. And the problem is as well, when people do talk about it, they really talk about the wrong things. They talk about the physical mechanics of sex. They talk about the endurance and the positions and the stamina or whatever, all of that autistic shit. But what goes into good sex is far more psychological than physical. If you're able to traverse the world as a man who has the quiet confidence knowing that any girl that enters your life, you're able to fucking rock her world, that's gonna do massive, massive, massive things for your self-esteem. If you're able to really please a girl, that quiet confidence that it gives you carries over into many different facets of your life. Not only does it fix your timid confidence issues, because when you go up to a girl, you're not really certain if you can actually give her a fucking good time, right? But it also transcends that into business. If you feel like a fucking rock star, if you are out here Genghis Khaning in the bedroom, and then you sit down at your PC, the level of work and the level of presence you're able to commit to that work is going to be 10 times that of the timid guy who doesn't fuck well. I know it might be a bit weird hearing this advice from someone like me who I've been on the internet for a while and I've told you all sorts of like stories about how, I used to wank into socks and play League of Legends for 16 hours a day. It might feel like a bit of a disconnect between your mental image of me and this advice I'm giving you right now, but I'm telling you, you've watched my transformation in real time. This has been a part of it, specifically in the last 2 years, and it's also been one which I've learned through pain. I've been that timid guy who, when he's talking to beautiful women, he just fucking sort of goes inwards and he doesn't feel like he belongs. And I've also been that guy who's blown up romantic relationships, which should be awesome, but they're not quite it. And that is the reason why. Next thing I want to talk about, and this is a fucking big one. You want to have a strong network, but not just a strong network, but guys at all 3 different levels. You've obviously heard fucking network, net worth, right? Like, I'm not here to bore you with that shit. But what people miss with the nuance of networking is that there's 3 different levels, and all 3 are actually really, really valuable for different reasons. So, the first level, I'll start with the most obvious, is guys who are ahead of you in life. These guys will inspire you to grow and to think bigger. That's super obvious. I'm not going to hang on this much longer. It's really, really important to have guys who are ahead of you who inspire you and to get into as much close proximity with those guys as you can. Now, the second level is the guys who are at around about the same level as you, but you're pursuing the same goal. Now, what these guys do is they keep you on track. They keep you consistent because you're both in the same trenches. You're both sharing the same sacrifice. These are some of the strongest relationships you can build for that reason. But they also keep you sane. It's good to have brothers around you who are struggling and building towards the same shit as you. But it serves a very different purpose to the guys who are ahead of you. But it's still just as important. And likewise, just as important is, believe it or not, the guys who are beneath you or below you. I guess that's a weird way of putting it. The guys who are lagging behind you a little bit, let's say. Now, why it's good to have these guys around, and this is the one people really miss out on, is because you're able to act as a leader for them. You're able to guide them. You're able to give them advice. And you might be thinking, well, Sam, that doesn't do shit for me, who gives a fuck? Wrong, brother, wrong. It's incredibly important to have guys like this around you, because what's happening when you're guiding them is 2 things which are really important. 1, you're reinforcing your own principles. You're hammering home the ideas which you have this sort of vague idea of yeah, this is probably the right thing. As soon as you start guiding others with that thing, you are 20 times more likely to abide by those principles as well, which is really, really fucking powerful. But the other thing it does is it actually helps your self-esteem. If you're helping people, if you're guiding people, if you're giving people advice, and they look up to you and they're very thankful and they're very grateful, and they seek advice from you, that's going to do absolute wonders for your self-esteem. A strong network has to consist of all 3 of these angles. not just the guy who's ahead. That's what people get really fucking messed up. And what happens is when you just chase the guys who are ahead of you is you get this weird sense of imposter syndrome and you start to look like a simp because you don't have the stable foundations of the guys who are at the same level than you. And you don't have the aura boost that you get from guiding guys who are below you. So you just seem like a simp who's trying too hard, right? All three are very important for three different reasons. The next thing I want to talk about is, again, you've all heard, oh, fucking change your environment, bro. Your environment changes. You know, I mean, I've said this a million times myself. I don't know, I'm taking a piss. But it's true, right? But I want to rephrase this in a way which really hits hard for me, right? And that is, your environment is making decisions that you think you're making. And that really does just fucking summarize exactly the point. Every single day, you wake up, your bedroom's a mess, or you look out the window and it's a gloomy sky and everyone's depressed, driving to their 9-to-5s. Every day you're in that environment, your brain is making millions of micro decisions that you think you're in control of, but you're actually not. And it's funny because when guys talk about, oh, change your environment, they're usually sat in some fucking villa in Bali or in Koh Samui or just some island somewhere. And they don't necessarily realize that they're also a product of that environment as well. Even though it looks really fancy and awesome on social media being sat, you know, at a beach working or whatever, you can't escape the fact that the island boy environment where the sun is beating down on you all day and everyone's wearing flip-flops and shorts and everyone's chilling, people are going there on holiday, you can't escape the fact that that environment is going to have a lot of subconscious weight in the decisions that you make or the decisions that you don't make. What I'm saying is the island life has complacency baked into it because it is a holiday destination. There is a reason why these islands are typically very underdeveloped, and it's because that environment is not conducive to continual growth. Life is too good without having to actually build something of meaning and substance. It's basically like smoking weed all day. Life's good, I'm smoking weed, I don't have to really do anything else. I'm all good. Weed's an extreme example. You can get some shit done on these islands, but for me anyway, I've just become so subconsciously aware that these types of environments are poison to my ambition as a man. I'm not thinking as big. When I look out my window and I'm in Bangkok, and I look out at the city, and the skyscrapers, and the sheer vast fucking skyline that people have built, the ambition, the hustle, people moving, that is conducive to my current season of life, and I'm aware of that. I think a lot of guys who move out to these islands, they talk about change your environment, man, because they went from like complete diarrhea, aka their home country's the UK, whatever, to this place, which is a major upgrade, but it's still, it's still complacency land. They've swapped one problem for another now. They're trying to build big businesses and make a big impact. They're in the wrong environment for it. There's levels of awareness that you have to be at. But the main thing to remember is that your environment is making decisions that you think you're making. The last thing I want to talk about is psychology. It's kind of a broad one, but the point I want to make is that if you just look at everything with a certain lens, everything that you do, everything that happens to you, if you look at it with a more psychological lens, of trying to understand the psychology behind that thing, it will change your fucking life. Psychology is baked into fucking everything. Psychology is baked into why you clicked on this video. Psychology is baked into why you've picked up your phone 2 or 3 times during the duration of this video. Here's the truth. Everyone is already using psychology on you. The girl, the client, the sociopaths you meet, the marketers, your own ego, okay? They're all using psychology on you. So the only difference is you've kind of just opted out of that race and you don't really think about things that much because, again, a lot of people's attention spans are too short. But I'm telling you right now, a really big reason as to why I've been able to transform my life and why I've been able to build such strong relationships and maintain them and retain them, right, is because I don't just have things happen to me and then I brush it off like, oh, whatever, she was just a bitch anyway, or, oh, that client, he was just broke anyway, he was never going to give me money. I'd never brush off the blame onto someone else. I always look at it through this specific psychological lens that I have in my brain, because there's always a reason behind these things. Everyone's operating these psychological levers, whether they're aware of it or not. If you're able to identify these psychological levers, if you're able to self-analyze and to analyze the people around you, the world around you, you can start to figure out why things happen. And once you figure that out, you can start making the world play to your tune. You can prevent bad things from happening. You can make good things happen to you. That's the power of understanding psychology. In general, a perfect example of this. I scaled my video editing business to over $12,000 a month. I didn't do that by being the best mechanical video editor. Let me tell you right now, I know plenty of other video editors, a lot of my students even, are actually better mechanical video editors than me. They can make things happen on the screen more than I can or whatever, right? I've got crazy animation skills, very talented. But what's funny is that doesn't alone translate to money. The reason I scaled my video editing business to $12,000 is because I understood psychology. I understood the psychology of my clients who I was working with, what they were looking for, how to avoid friction, how to best serve what they need. And I also understood the psychology of their audiences so that I could deliver awesome work, which translated into attention and money. And if you combine those two things, you become a very valuable asset to any businessman as a video editor. Now that I've been teaching video editing for the last 3 years, it's a proven, repeatable fact. My students are able to replicate very similar results to what I've been able to do. And that's because they look at it not just as a mechanical button pushing job, but from a psychological standpoint as well. I actually made a brand new program called Authority Editor. And the idea behind it is to teach the psychology behind building a sick video editing business. Because funnily enough, a lot of guys don't lack the talent, they lack the psychological understanding of what makes a video editor good and valuable. If you're interested, it's actually in pre-launch right now. It's at a fucking insane price. I honestly regret putting it up for this low of a price for what you're fucking getting. I'm not going to leave it up for that price for much longer at all. So if you've been watching me for a while and you want to learn a skill which has completely transformed my life, I made this program literally for you. So click the first link in the description and check it out right now. Don't wait, because like I say, it's in pre-launch right now. It's fucking low price. I'm not going to keep it there for long. Anyway, that's my 5 unspoken principles. I hope that really helps. Hit the like button if you liked the video. And once again, check out Authority Editor. It's the first link in the description. Take care, boys. Good to be back.